Awesome. Okay, we are live and we're recording. Welcome everyone to Google for Champion Teachers. My name is Josh Voiles. I'm an instructional technology coordinator with Midland ISD. And so guys, we have a lot to cover today. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. I just want to make you guys aware of a couple things real quick before we get started. And so at different main slides in this presentation, you're going to see this QR code. So if you want to get this presentation, you can do that. If you're joining from a phone today and you're worried about still getting all of this, don't worry. All of this will be posted on YouTube. If you just give me like maybe a day, hopefully no more than 2 days, I will have this posted. And all of the same QR codes will be in this, everything that's in the recording will be there. So you'll still have access to get this this presentation later if you can't get it today. But I did want to make this as easy as possible for everyone. And so, like I said, my name is Josh. I'm with the Instructional Technology Department, Technology Integration Department. And so basically, if if you don't know much about us, we know that there's still a lot of teachers trying to, discover us and trying to get resources. And that's why we exist, is just to help teachers get resources and to make teaching with technology. We want to make the classroom a better place by helping teachers to use technology for their teaching. So if there's anything that you ever need assistance with, feel free to email techhelp@midlandisd.net. Also want to encourage you guys to go and visit our website, which is midlandisd.net/itech, and there's a QR code for it right there. That's my department's specific website. And so we post a lot of resources on there as well. Another thing I want to remind you, well, here's the QR code. I actually already mentioned this, is that this training will be on our YouTube channel. So you want to go check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of great videos we've posted. There's a lot of new videos that we've actually posted of some of our previous trainings. So go check those out. Okay. All right, so like I said, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that I want to talk about, this is going to be some mixed mash of some really cool Google tips and tricks, but also some really advanced things that teachers can use. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that I want to show you is what I call sneaky links. Okay. Whoops, sorry, I think somebody is not muted here. Oh, okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I know sometimes that happens, but it's cool. Okay, so I call this sneaky links. And so basically what you can do is anywhere you see this button, I'm always looking for this button. It's a little gray button with the link icon inside of it. So you can use this link tool to link anything. And this is not just in docs, actually. You can use this in sheets or slides or anywhere where you see this button. Most of the Google apps have this button. It's usually at the top somewhere. You just have to look for it, okay? What you're going to do is just highlight whatever it is you want to link something to, and then you click that tool. So let me show you what that looks like. Here inside of a Google Doc, and I'm going to share my tab. Hopefully everyone can see that there. So I've got this kind of fake table that I made with some like links to put in, basically to show you guys. Like, say for instance, I was working on our tech talks, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So let's say I've got this YouTube URL here, and you can see that does go to an actual YouTube video. Okay, and I'm going to copy with Control C, and let's say I want to add a YouTube link to this sheet here, or this table. So I want to add the link to the text. So what I'm gonna do is highlight the text, and then I'm going to see my little link button here at the top. That's where it is. So I'm going to choose that link. I'm going to paste in that YouTube video, and then I'm going to click apply. So now you see that made a link because it's highlight or underlined, and it turns blue. That's usually how you know something is being linked to something. So that's a great way to do that. You can actually link images as well. So once again, I'm just going to highlight the image, and then right up here at the top, I'm going to click that insert link button again, that same tool, and I'm going to paste my YouTube video into there and click apply. So now whenever someone clicks that, if they have access to this doc, it's going to take them right to that YouTube video. Pretty cool, right? So I know that's very basic. I know that's basic, but a lot of teachers sometimes wanted to know how to do that. So I wanted to make for sure to show that to everyone. And so like I said, some of these are going to be really easy. Some of these are going to be I think some of these are going to be really cool and new things that you haven't heard of before. All right, this is one that I think a lot of people maybe don't know about. It's called smart chips. So what are smart chips? Well, they're basically these little interactive elements that you can put in real time. They have real-time information, and they can add a lot of functionality to a document. You can insert them simply using the @ symbol, okay? Or you can just go to Insert Smart Chips. So basically, we've got all these different kinds here, like this GIF that's animating. You can see there's you can add people, dates, calendar events, files, which is really cool if you're in a meeting document and you want to reference another document from somewhere else. You can take a vote. You can add a place. There's stopwatches. My favorite is the drop down. So let me, oh, and then you can add tasks as well. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here on this other document, I've got kind of this make-believe Scrum project meeting here. And so this is just some examples of how you can add chips. So let's say if we wanted to add some attendees. So we just do Shift @ okay, and now you see these options for smart chips appear. I can search for people, okay, or I can just do the @ symbol and then add the person that I want, okay. So that's a good way to add people to a document. Once you add them, they will be able to see that, okay. Here I want to add a timer, so once again, I'll do the @ symbol, and here's the timer. So now I can set a timer. So this is pretty cool for like if you're in a meeting that is a timed meeting and you have to maybe this is for, you know, you're the minutes taker or something, and you can set a timer for the meeting. So now that is counting down, that clock is counting down. And I can actually
Joshua,
reset that as well. Yes.
sorry.
Whoops, I'm not sharing the
I
tab.
can't see your tab. Nope.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you for alerting me. Was that Tori? Thank you, Tori. So basically, if you didn't see any of that, I'm just doing Shift @, and that's how you can add the people. And then down here, you've got your other smart chips. So right here, I just added a a timer. You can also add a stopwatch, which is pretty cool. And you just click it and it starts, or it'll stop when you click it as well. And then you can reset as well. So that's a pretty cool chip, I think. Right here, I've got a Scrum board that I'm going to add people to show them their tasks. So right here, if I do an @ symbol, let's say I want to add a task. So I can title the task, maybe email that person. Okay, and I'm going to assign this to maybe Isabel, for instance. So Isabel, I'm reminding Isabel to email that one person. And then I'm going to say, please do this by Friday. And then I click Assign Task. And so now you see her image appears right next to a checkbox. She's going to get an email notification, and this is also going to appear on her tasks in her Gmail that she needs to email that one person. Here we can actually put in the date again if we want to. We can do Shift @ and then choose the calendar and choose the date. And that's how we can put dates as a smart chip. My favorite smart chip is something called a drop down. Where did it go? There's a drop down right here. So we can actually configure our own new drop down. I've got a couple different ones, or we can just do one that I've already created. So here you can see if we do new drop down, I've got some options. So maybe there's like not started, and then I've got in progress, you know, you get the idea. So I can add whatever I want to those. I can even do a different color. So maybe like not started is red, and then like finished is green, something like that, okay? Kind of like a stoplight. And then we can click save. And you can title the configuration too. So maybe this is like project X or something, okay? So now, whoops. If I click save, it adds that automatically, but if I just delete that and I do the Shift @, we can see under our drop down, I have that project X now, okay? And then if I do the little drop down, I can choose, okay, Isabel emailed that person, so now I'm going to show that she's finished that. So drop downs are a really cool way to show visually something that's being done. So I thought that that was pretty cool. Okay. Page list. This is really cool. This is in Google Docs. You just go up to File, Page Setup, and what you can do is, I'll just show you what it looks like. This is actually a design that I did for our Power Up. And if I collapse this menu here, you can see that there are no page breaks, no header, no footer, no margins, none of that. It's just one giant extended canvas, you could say. And this is really great, in my opinion, for doing these really big like cells. Like if you don't want to do it on a sheet, but you want to just have like a basic table inside of a doc, this is a great way to have that being displayed as on a page list. So what you would do is you go up to File, Page Setup, which is near the bottom. And you can see here I can switch back from pages to pageless. And it opens up that whole page. I can even choose a different background color if I'd like. And then I click OK. So that's a really cool way, and it just keeps going. You can keep scrolling and scrolling, and it'll be just kind of this one giant sheet of paper. So I thought that was a really cool thing. You know, I think teachers, if you're designing schedules and things like that, you could use that as a way to do that. Okay, I just have a couple of Chrome tips here. And so the first one is like literally my favorite. It's called Chrome tab groups. So I don't think a lot of people know you can do this. It's a little weird at first, so I say just try it for yourself and you'll see it's actually really easy. So in my opinion, there's two types of people in the world. There's tab minimalists who have only a few tabs open at a time. Okay, that's great if you're that type of person. I'm not that type of person. I usually have like 40 tabs open at a time, and I'll have like, you know, one window, one browser has 10 tabs, and then I'll have another browser that has like another 15 tabs or something. It's crazy, right? Because I just have so much that I'm looking at one time. So basically, if you're a tab collector like me, probably the thing that you've noticed is that you lose tabs really easily, and it's a hassle, it's a pain just to go back and open up every tab. And so I think everyone hates losing tabs whenever their computer crashes. So that's where you can use Google Tab Groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop presenting the way I'm presenting, and I want to present to you my whole window so that you can actually see my browser. Can everybody see that? Hopefully you can see. Okay, so you notice here at the top, I've got all these different tabs. These are actually all of the different tabs that I'm going to show you today for this presentation. So let's say I want to put all of these tabs in a tab group. So what I can do is I'm going to use the Shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to shift click from, I'm going to start on this first tab, and I'm going to shift click all the way to this last tab. And now you see they're all highlighted. You see how that works? So now once you have all of your tabs highlighted, what you can do is right click on any one of those tabs, and you're just going to go to here, this third one that says add tabs to new group. And actually it's saying that I've already added those. And so, but basically this is what it looks like. Well, let me see. Let me open up a new tab. I'm just going to open up 2 new blank tabs here and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to add tabs to group, new group, and this is where I can actually, whoops, I lost it. This is where I can name the group. So maybe like, I don't know, test group, and I can actually pick the color of the group. So let's say I have this group, it's going to be this kind of purple pink color. And now I've got this new tab group. And now what I can do is I can always add new tabs. If like if I open up 3 new tabs, I can add those tabs just by clicking and dragging them into that group. And now I can detach those together, and they're all together. If I click on that group tab at the beginning, it will nest all of them together. And if I click it again, they'll open all back up. So they're all right there. And then if I close it, I don't have to worry because I can always come back to to this little, you can see once you have a lot, it kind of collects them up at the top of your browser. I can always come up to here and click on that test, and it opens back up all of those tabs. Okay, if you don't see it, then what you want to do is you want to go right here again. You go to these four little squares, and because I have so many, they don't all fit at the top. So sometimes I have to scroll through this list, but they will all be there, I promise. Okay, so try that out. You could have, I have a tab group for lots of things. I even have one for like, it's called main. And basically that main group has my Gmail, my calendar, and like a really important Google Doc, just like my main ones that I'm always using. Okay. Whoops. I'm going to stop sharing. And now I want to share just the tab again. Okay, now we're back, I think. For some reason it's, okay, can y'all see that? Okay, I think that's working. Okay, so just a couple of Gmail and Google Calendar tips for you. So basically in Gmail, this is a really basic, but once again, it's really cool in my opinion. There's these things where you can use stars to star your emails. So I'll show you what that looks like. So basically in my email, you can see I can star certain emails, and then if I keep clicking that star, it cycles through all these different colors. Whoops, I'm not sure. Let me share my tab. That might help. So if you didn't see that, this is what I was doing. I was just clicking on the email, and you can see I'm changing the star color, and there's a couple of other icons in there. So how you would do that is you go to settings, you click see all settings. I'm going to collapse this email here. Scroll down, and you can see these are the stars, and most of yours by default will be not in use. So what you want to do is just drag them up to the top, and you can select what order you want those stars to be in. And so basically, like if it's something important or something from Isabel, I'll usually give that a red star. Or if it's like a resource, maybe I'll give it a blue. It just depends how you want to use the colors. These little exclamation points are really good too. If it's something really urgent, you can star it or put that exclamation point. And so whenever you click through, it'll just go through all of those different ones. The most important thing, always, when you're in this settings for Gmail, you want to scroll down to the bottom and click Save Changes. Otherwise, it will not work. So now I can star my emails. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is you can bypass the Gmail attachment limit using Drive. And so basically, I don't know if you've ever run into this problem before, but back in our Gmail, let's say we are going to make a new email and we want to attach. And normally what people do is they'll use this attach with the little paper clip, and it'll let you browse to attach something to that email. The problem is that some of us need to send things that are really large, like really large files. And if it's a video or something like that, sometimes it's not going to let you attach that. It's going to give you this little message that says, hey, this file is too big. It exceeds the limit. Okay. So the way to get around that is instead of clicking the little attach with the little paperclip, what you want to do instead is choose insert files using Drive. As a teacher, I would do this all the time with students or other teachers. I would share videos, or even with the principal, I would share a lot of the videos that we would make. I would always use a Google Drive attachment. So what you do is you click the Drive icon. Now just keep in mind, whatever you're going to attach has to be in your Google Drive first. Okay, so make sure that you drop it in there first. But now I can search through my Drive and attach whatever I need, and it will send it to that person, and they will be able to grab it from Google Drive instead of having to attach it from the paperclip. So that, in my opinion, is a really powerful thing that a lot of teachers could use. Okay, also in Gmail, if you didn't know this, you can actually add available times from your calendar. This is really cool in my opinion. So you can use Gmail's new scheduling feature to find slots to meet directly with people directly from your inbox without even needing to navigate separately to your Google Calendar. So all you would do is click that button and you would choose select offer times you're free. Your calendar will open in a panel to the right of the email, and then you can select one or more open time slots that work for you. So this is kind of what it looks like. So say I'm going to email somebody. I'm going to click the little calendar, schedule a time to meet. You can also create an event right from there as well, but I want to propose a time that I'm free. So now this is opening my little panel, and I can choose a time that I'm free. Oh, I'm free at 7 a.m. You want to meet at 7 a.m.? And so, or I can just go through this little setup here and tell it, it says it can't add times from the past because I'm trying to do from this morning. So we might want to shuttle to tomorrow. Okay, so here I'm free, and it takes me through this little setup where I can set up the time, and then I can go next, add to email. Okay, so now I'm going to email this person this cool little card that is from my Google Calendar saying, hey, let's meet at this time. This is when I'm free. So or if you don't want to use it, you can just X that out. Okay, so that's a cool way to add and schedule things with people through email without having to go to your calendar. Okay, next I want to show you if you've ever created a maybe like a calendar event. If you've ever created a calendar event and you're adding a Google Join meeting to that event, and you've sent out invites, but you realize that now you need to change the Google meeting, you don't have to actually erase that event or do anything to that event. There's a way you can actually update the meeting, the Google meeting in that event without changing anything else. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So here's my calendar. Okay, and here is a test event that I created on Saturday. Okay, now I can go to my pencil and notice I already have a Google meeting set up for this event. Okay, and everyone who's been invited is going to use that Google Meet. But the problem is that that's the wrong one. So I'm going to go into this pencil and edit the event. And now you can see under Google Meet settings, I can do this little drop down. And notice here, there's a pencil next to the Google Meeting ID. So if I click that pencil, now it allows me to erase that, and I can copy and paste in a new Google Meeting code that I have. And now all I got to do is click save, and that will update that test event with the new Google Meeting. So I think that's a really good tip to know about. Okay, sharing. So you can share a Google Calendar. I don't know if you knew about this too, but you can do that. It took me a while to figure this out. So, but it's really good for sharing. Like if you're in a group with some other teachers and there's some important dates that you need to look at, you can see each other's calendars. And it's really easy because there's these little check boxes where if you don't want to see that other person's calendar, you can just toggle that off, uncheck it, and you're only seeing your calendar. So it's really easy to look at your calendar just by itself, or look at your calendar with the other person's calendar just by the click of a button. So to do this, you want to go to your Google Calendar, you find the calendar that you want to share, and you click the three dots. So let me show you what that looks like. So back here on my calendar, you can see here's all of the different calendars I have. Currently, I'm only checkboxing my calendar, okay? And but I can checkbox these other ones, like if I want to see Isabel's calendar, she's going to appear in the purple. Or if I want to see Marissa's calendar, I can checkbox her, and now her calendar appears. And so basically what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go up to my calendar. I'm going to click the three dots. Okay. Then I'm going to go to settings and sharing. If I scroll down, this is where you can see you can name your calendar, which I want to keep it as my name. But I can add people and groups. So what this is going to do, say if I want to invite Debbie, I can just click send, and it's going to send her an invite to my calendar, and she can accept that or deny it if she wants to. Okay, or I can just take people off that I need to take off. So that is how you can do that. Okay, another really great tip is that if I go to the three dots again, do you notice those different colors? This is how you can change the color of your calendar. And this helps you visually to differentiate between your calendar and someone else's calendar. So say instead of this orange, I want to change it to purple. So now all of my calendar is purple. Okay, but actually I think I want to keep that orange. So that way when I'm viewing everybody else's calendar, because Isabel is purple, so she already took the color purple. So I don't want to take her color. So you want to just use that to differentiate. It makes things a lot easier visually, in my opinion. So that's how you would do that. And actually, that was my next tip. To choose a color, you just click on those 3 dots. Okay, Google Slides. I've got some pretty cool Google Slides tips. So the first one I want to show you is something called speech to text captions. So you can use captions in Google Slides. So like if you're teaching, this is great for students with accommodations, like maybe if they can't hear you very well or they need something to read, or just your learners who are like very auditory, or they learn by reading. You can actually turn this on and it'll pick up your voice. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to go to this tab where I've got a kind of a fake Google Slide set up. So let's say I'm teaching about the Great Barrier Reef, okay? I'm going to go ahead and go to slideshow, okay? And then now I'm presenting, okay? And I'm teaching my students. All I have to do is go to these 3 dots, and then I'm going to go to captions and preferences. Captions and preferences, and then I'm going to toggle on the captions. Notice if you don't want to have to go through these 3 dots every time, if you just go to there, you'll notice there's a keyboard shortcut. If you do Control-Shift-C, C for captions, it will toggle this on back and forth. So Command-Shift-C, okay? So, but I'm just going to go ahead and click this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my presentation on the Great Barrier Reef. Okay, so you can see that it's picking up my voice and it's adding the captions to the bottom of the page. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-C, and once again, now I'm just toggling that off. Pretty cool, right? I think that's really powerful if you want them to be able to read what you're saying. Now, if you mess up and you say something wrong, it's going to probably pick that up too. But in my opinion, it's better to do that if you need it than not to do it. So, okay. You can also insert videos directly from YouTube or Google Drive into your slide presentation. So I'm going to exit out of my presentation. I'm going to go to Insert. And then if I scroll down, you'll see Video. So Video, and now I had previously searched, let me go back. I don't know why it stayed on that page. You can search through YouTube or Google Drive. So if you've got a cool video on your Google Drive, you can attach that. Whoops. Thank you very much. So sorry. Let me show you guys that again. You go up to Insert, Video. Thank you, Marissa, for catching me from, I wasn't sharing my tab. So now I can use a YouTube video or something from my Google Drive and attach that too. I actually want to use a YouTube video. I'm going to search Great Barrier, if I could spell, Reef. And now I'm searching through all these cool, look, National Geographic, Great Barrier Reef, and I can add that, insert that right into that slide.
From space, the east coast of...
Okay, so that's how you would do that. And then if you don't want that, you can move it around or you can just delete it if you don't want it. But that's how you would do that. So pretty cool in my opinion. YouTube, anytime I get a chance to use YouTube as a teacher, I'm going to take advantage. Okay. Also, there's this really cool thing where you can accept audience questions. So you can do like a Q&A in your Google Slide presentation. This is really good, I think, if you want to get the students to kind of interact with your presentation. So you can just go, once again, I'll show you where it is. I'm going to share my tab again. I'm going to go, so you go to slideshow and you're presenting again. So this has to be like when you're presenting, sort of like the captions. You go to the same 3 dots. You go all the way up to the top where it says Open Speaker Notes. Okay. Under Speaker Notes, okay, you're going to see this little thing where it says, now I know some of you guys are familiar with Speaker Notes. It kind of shows you your own view and what's coming up next. But this is where you would do this audience tools. And this is really cool in my opinion. This will, you guys can't see that, can you? I don't know why it's not. Okay, this is where you can go to the audience tools, and then you can do a Q&A and you start new. And basically what this does is it puts a code at the top of your slides. And let me see if I can share. I'm going to go back and share the other tab. Okay, you see at the top here where it says ask a question. So the student can ask a question to the teacher. Okay, let me go back to the other tab. All right, and this is what it looks like on the teacher side. So basically you can toggle this on or off anytime from your presenter view. And anytime it's off, they won't be able to ask questions. And when it's on, then you can open that up and all of the questions will appear right here and you can answer the questions. Maybe they don't want to ask a question in front of the class and raise their hand. That's a really cool way to do that. Okay. So now, whoops. I need to escape from this. There we go. I think I just stopped sharing the whole thing. Let me reshare that with you guys. Sometimes this sharing business gets a little complicated. Okay, so try that out. Definitely try that out. I think a lot of people already know about this, but if you're ever in a Google meeting, you can actually share a slides presentation right to the Google meeting. Now, I'm in a Google meeting right now, so I don't know. I think I can actually, I would have to, but I'll just basically show you from the animation here on the slide. So you see the little button where it's the raised hand, like a hand, right to the right to that button right there that has the square with the arrow pointing up. You just click that button whenever you're in the Google meeting with all the other teachers, and you can choose to present any slideshow that you have open at the moment. And when that happens, it'll actually give you these cool little arrows inside of the Google meeting, so you don't actually have to go away from the Google meeting to share your slides. You can click through your slides right when you're in the Google meeting with everybody else. So pretty cool, in my opinion. Okay, sharing. So sharing is a really big deal. Now, this isn't just in Google Slides. This is basically the same options you're going to get in Google Sheets, Google Docs, anything that allows you to share. Okay, but just keep in mind that this is very important. We do get some questions about this because if you don't share correctly, the person you're sharing with won't be able to see what you're sharing. It'll be sometimes have you ever gotten a link from somebody and it says that you're locked out? Well, well, that's why, is because they didn't share it properly. So we want to actually show you guys how to do this. So if I go over here to my Great Barrier Reef again, I can come up to the top where it says share. And there's kind of two different parts to this. So the first part is basically specific access. So I can choose people with specific access. So right now it's just me and Isabel. Let's say I want to add Debbie. So I can click Debbie and add her in. Now, I don't have to do this right now. I can always choose later. But if you want to do it, you can. So I'm going to make her an editor where she's going to actually be able to come in here and edit the text or add pictures. And I'm just going to click send. And now that's going to send her an email invite to view my Great Barrier Reef. Okay, if we go back to share, now you can see Debbie is added as a person with specific access. And I can change that now. If I want to change her to a viewer, I can make her a viewer. Okay, so that's how you would do that. And it's going to send them an email. Now, underneath that, you're going to see something called general access. So right here, I can copy this link. So if I click copy link, now I can paste that link into a doc, my Google Classroom, anywhere. I can send it on an email, right? And whoever gets that link that's what this general access is going to set the access for this link. Okay, so I can toggle down here. I can put this on restricted. So even if the link is already sent out, I can lock those people out who have the link by putting it on restricted. Or I can put it on anyone from the district, or I can just do anyone with the link. So anyone on the internet who has the link, they will be able to open that. And then I can also set the permission for that as well. And I can make them all viewers, commenters, or editors. Okay. So maybe you want to have everyone with general access is just a viewer, but people with the specific access, they get to be editors. So that is how you would do that. And just keep in mind that that is basically for everything. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms. That's how you're setting that up for everybody. And then you want to make sure you click Save. Okay. So that is how you would share. Okay. Next, what I want to show is just some really cool stuff in Google Classroom. So now we're kind of shifting, thinking more like a teacher, that education mindset. So in Google, the first thing, I think everyone's pretty familiar. So I wanted to share some just kind of specific, maybe less known or less explored options in Google Classroom. So the first thing I wanted to show is something called practice sets. So practice sets is basically a quiz, but with some AI integrated into that, okay? So practice sets are an interactive assignment format in Google Classroom that provide instant automated feedback to students, okay? And it'll give you as a teacher some performance insights as well. So the key feature here is that it auto grades the questions. So that's really cool in my opinion. And the benefit of the student is that when they're taking this practice set or this quiz, it's going to give them real-time hints while they're taking the quiz. And so let me kind of show you what that looks like. So if I come over here to my Google Classroom and let me share my tab. Okay, so this is my Google Classroom. I just have like a demo class and like this fake astronomy class that I have created. So in here, if I go to classwork, I can do the new create button. I'm going to choose quiz assessment. Okay, now this looks like a normal blank quiz, but notice here at the bottom under your attach, you have these different add-ons like Drive, YouTube, okay, read along. Well, here in the middle is practice sets. So this is where we can actually use a practice set, or we can create a new practice set or use an old one. I created a couple different ones about astronomy. And so I could go and use that, but I actually just want to create a new practice set just to show you all what it looks like. Okay. So here I can title it. I can add the question. It's very similar to setting up like a Google form, if you've ever done that. I can add new questions by this button here at the bottom. Or another really cool tip is you can actually use this import. Let's say you have something in your Google Drive, like a PDF or something. So here I've got the planet Mars.pdf. This was a resource that I found on the internet that I thought was really cool. I can import that. And so now it's going to read that PDF as best that it can. Sometimes it's going to ask you to tweak some things. So right here it's saying select each problem that you want to import. So number one, Mars is a very blank planet. Number two, Mars is the blank planet from the sun. Okay, so just for the sake of time, we'll just use those two. I'm going to import those questions and check it out. It brought those in as questions. And so now I can still tweak it if I need. I can enter the correct answers, but that's basically how you can use some previous material that you might have. Okay, and now I can try this as a student, or I can just click done editing. Okay, and then if I go back, now I can do, I forgot to title it, but basically now I can come over here and attach that, or I can share that to a Google Classroom, or I can even try it as a student. And I can always go back and edit if I need to as well. So that's how you would do a practice set. Highly recommend that you try that out because it's actually it's really cool. I like to take advantage of the artificial intelligence, the power of that as well. Okay, and I actually already just talked about using that import button, about how you can import questions from a PDF. So that way you don't actually have to spend a lot of time doing all these questions from scratch. You can import previous material as well. Google Forms. So Google Forms is really good as well with Google Classroom. So if you're more old school and you don't want to necessarily use the AI right away, a lot of teachers use the Google Form as a way to make an assessment. Now, there's a specific way to do this if you're going to use a Google Form in tandem with Google Classroom to give an assessment or a quiz. So this is really important, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to create the quiz in Google Classroom. Okay, I'll show you this in just a second. Google Classroom will automatically create a blank Google form that is linked to Google Classroom. It's going to link the form to the classroom assignment, and it's going to set the form to something called quiz mode. Okay. Number two, you want to go into the form. So not in Google Classroom, but you're going to go into the form. Once it's created, you want to build your form. You want to add the questions. You can do multiple choice, check boxes, short answer, however you're going to do the quiz. Okay. The most important part is you want to key it. So you want to click the answer key on each question in the Google form and set up your keying, the correct answers and the point values, all of that. So keep in mind, this is crucial for auto grading. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here in my Google Classroom again, I'm going to go back to create, and I'm just going to do quiz assignment. And instead of doing the practice sets, this time I'm going to go ahead and go with that blank quiz. I can title this astronomy, okay, quiz or something, whatever you want to call it. And then you can put instructions. I want to make sure that this blue toggle switch for grade importing is turned on, okay? And then I want to click, you can add a rubric if you want to. You can choose what topic it goes under. You can choose a due date. So let's just say the due date is in 2 days. And I want to assign to all students or maybe just a group of students, okay? And click done. Okay, so that's going to go to all students in this astronomy class that I have set up. And then I'm going to click assign. Okay, so now on the quiz on the Google Form side of it, this is my test quiz, okay? And I actually put a little picture in here, like a banner for the astronomy. And these are just test questions. Obviously, your quiz wouldn't have weird questions like this. This is just something for me to set up really fast to show you all. This is where under each question, you'll see something that says answer key. You want to click on answer key, and you want to make sure that you set the point value on each question, and then also choose which is the correct question, and then click done. You want to do that on every question, okay? That's the crucial part, okay? If you have trouble with this, let me know. It can be a little tricky sometimes, but it's normally something having to do with that. Is you want to make sure that everything is set up correctly and before you assign that to your students, okay? Champion tip. Use the required questions in the form to ensure students don't skip items, guaranteeing you get the data for every concept. So right here in the quiz, you want to set that to required. So see this little toggle? That's another thing you want to make sure is on for every single question. Okay. Google Drive. So I've got some really cool Google Drive tips. A huge tip for any teacher. I tell this to every teacher, okay? Install the Google Drive app onto your phone. Okay, the reason why is because if you've got really important stuff for your classroom that's on your phone, you can add that right to your Google Drive, and it makes it just so much easier, having the Google Drive app on your phone. And you might be thinking, well, what's going to be on my phone that I'm going to use as a teacher? You'd be surprised. Okay, so my mom, her name's Angela. She's actually a teacher with the district. She works at Jones. She's a phenomenal teacher. And I helped her. We installed the Google Drive on her phone because she was always needing to add things from the classroom to her Google Drive to share in the folders with her school, like the ones that they share with all the teachers and everything. Things like t-test evidence, that's one big one just in and of itself right there, right? A lot of that stuff ends up on your phone, like you take pictures of it. So things like that, you can add that right from your phone to your Google Drive. So just a tip, in my opinion, a very important one that you would want to use if you're a teacher. Another one is something called Google Drive for Desktop. So a lot of people haven't heard of this, but it should be pushed out to every teacher laptop in the district. If it's not, let us know. It should be. If you don't see it, you can go online, just type in Google Drive for desktop on a Google search, and you'll find the website where you can just download it, install it. It's really easy. But what is Google Drive for desktop? It actually used to be called Google Drive File Stream. Okay, and what this is, it's not the same thing as your Google Drive on the web. It's basically what it does is it downloads your Google Drive to your computer. Even if you're using like a Windows computer or a Mac, it doesn't matter. It will install your Google Drive and sync it onto your computer. Okay, so all of your Google, whatever is in your Google Drive on the web, all of those files are going to appear in your computer. So on this next slide, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So this is kind of what it looks like on a Mac, and this is kind of what it would look like on a PC. So you see where it says Google Drive on the red square right here. Here is what it looks like highlighted. I've had it highlighted on this with this other red box on what it looks like on a Mac. And so basically your Google Drive will show up like it's another drive on your computer. So whether you're using a Mac and you're using the little, what's it called, the little file explorer, it'll show up in there. Or if you're using a PC and you're browsing through the little locations on your PC, you'll have like this PC, desktop, documents, downloads, pictures, and then you'll see Google Drive, okay? And so what's cool about this is when you drag and drop files on your computer, like say your desktop, and you drag that into your Google Drive, it will now appear and sync to your Google Drive on the web. So, and another thing that's really cool is that, you know, Google Drive on the web, if you drag and drop like a Word doc into there, when you open it, it's going to try to open and transform that into a Google Doc instead of like a Word document. It'll transform that to a Google Doc. But if you use Google Drive for desktop and you drag and drop, say, like an Excel spreadsheet or a Word doc, like a Microsoft Word, into there, it's going to keep that as its native application. And you can open that up from your Google Drive on your computer. So try that out if you haven't. It's really cool. Google Drive, this is a super Google Drive drag and drop. This is a super, super basic, really, really basic tip. But just in case you didn't know, you can drag and drop. Whoops, let me share my tab. So this is what my Google Drive looks like, okay? You can drag and drop files and images into your Google Drive. So you see I'm adding a file here, and I've already done this before, that's why it's telling me. And so see here, there's this little green checkbox at the bottom telling you that the upload is complete. And then if I go to my recent, I'll be able to see that little file that I had just uploaded. So just keep that in mind. I know it's super basic, but it's really cool. I love to drag and drop things into my Google Drive. And from there, you can drag and drop things into different folders too. The next thing I want to talk about is file sharing. And so basically, and actually really there's nothing new here. I already showed you guys about file sharing. Just like it worked in that that Great Barrier Reef that I was showing you, it works the same in Google Drive. So here is my Google Drive. You can see I've got a lot of different folders, but notice I've got folders that are just like blank solid color. And then I have these other folders right here that have that little person. You see the little person icon? That is telling me that that is a folder that I have shared with other people. So what you would do if you want to share a folder, I can go and click or I can just right click on the folder and I go to share. And I'm going to click share. And here's our dialog box again with that same thing that I was showing you earlier. Works the exact same way. I can change this to anyone with a link, and now I can copy the link to this folder into an email or to a Google Classroom or wherever I want them to have access to this whole folder. This works great if you're a teacher and you're sharing stuff like with the principal or other teachers, like pictures or photos or other classroom resources or documents that you want to share like with everybody. That's a good way that you can do that, and you'll know that you can see what all folders you're sharing by just looking and glancing and see who has what folders have the little person icon on there. So that's a good way to do that. All right, the next thing I want to show you, kind of in that same area, if I go back to my Google Drive, is how to organize and move things around. So once again, back here on my Google Drive, let's say this downloads folder, it's in my main Google Drive, but I want to move this to another location. I can move this. Now I could drag and drop it, but let's say if you've got a lot of files and folders with like a structure and you want to put that in a specific area, or let's say there's a shared, you've got shared drives. Maybe you have your personal drive, but you also have the school or the campus shared drive, and you want to move a folder to a shared drive. So what you would do is right click, you go, instead of to share, you go to organize. Okay, organize, move. So once you click organize, move, you get this new box. And now this is kind of like an explorer where I can choose and see all the different locations. So I can search through all of the things in my drive, or I can go back and even go to the school shared drive. And so that's how you can find the folder that you want to share that to, and you can click move. Now, I don't want to do that because I don't want to move my folder into a different place, but that's how you would do that. And then this downloads folder is going to move from your drive to the other new location where you're trying to share. Okay. Another really important thing is shortcuts. So a shortcut, if you think about it like a shortcut in Windows, if you're ever made a shortcut like on your desktop, if you've, or like, you know, like a desktop shortcut, you'll know that basically there's a way where you can get the icon for like a certain folder or a certain application to appear on your desktop. And it's just a shortcut, even though that folder or that file exists in another location on your computer. Well, it's the exact same thing with Google Drive. So Google Drive now supports shortcuts. So if you have an item that you want to store in more than one drive folder, then you can create a shortcut so that there's no duplication. So if you've ever made a copy of a file or a folder in Google Drive, you'll notice now you have two because it's a copy. And so if one of them changes, the other one is not going to change. The original is not going to change because it's just a duplicate. Here, if you don't want to do that, you want to just have multiple instances of the exact same file or folder. Now you can do that by creating a shortcut. So basically to do that, I would just go back to my drive. I'm going to click on this downloads. I'm going to click on organize again, but instead of doing move, I'm going to do add shortcut. And similar to when I'm moving something, I get to choose the new location or where I want to make a shortcut to, and I'll just click add. And so now this downloads folder is going to have a shortcut in that new place. And so whatever changes to one will change to the other because it's the exact same folder. Very important to know about, in my opinion. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is that you can color code your folders. This is really handy, in my opinion. So you see here, I've got my downloads folder, and it's this lime green. If I right click on there and go back to organize once again, you see these color options. I can change that to red, and now my downloads folder is red. And this is just great for visually, like things that you need to organize once again. And so it helps you to just kind of pick that out really easily instead of searching for it at the top. 5 minutes left. Okay. So Sheets, this is really a really cool thing in my opinion. In Google Sheets, you can actually lock a specific range of data. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. This is important, like if you're a teacher or even admin, you want to share a sheet with the school, but maybe there's a part of that sheet that you don't want people to edit. You don't want them to change. You only want them to change whatever is in maybe one other part. So what I can do is I can highlight all of these boxes here. So this A1 through A22, and that is what I want to protect. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to go to data, and then I'm going to come down here where it says protect sheets and ranges. So here I get this little side menu where it shows the column that I selected. It gives me the range A1 to A22, and I'm going to do set permissions. So now what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to do only me. So I'm the only one that gets to edit that, even if everyone else has access to this sheet. or I can choose specific people if I choose custom, and I can checkbox the people that I want to have access only to that range. So that means whoever sees this sheet, they only get to change this other stuff. They don't get to change um, this first column. Okay, so that is how you would do that. Okay, and guys, that's actually it for today. This last slide is really just a little cherry on top. If you've never heard of Google Arts and Culture, go check it out. It's a great website for you and your students. It's very educational, but it also is like gamified in a way. So there's all kinds of things on there where you can explore art movements. You can take your kids through a virtual reality simulation. There's historical figures. You can take them through like virtual art galleries. There's really cool games where you can do puzzles together, and everyone in the whole class is working on the same puzzle. And then there's another one where you can do like a geography kind of like a search, and they try to guess where they are on planet Earth. And it's really cool. Everything on there comes with a little button that says share to Google Classroom. So check that out, give it a try. I think you guys will really like that. A lot of really great educational stuff. You just search it. Just search. It's really easy to find. Just type in Google Arts and Culture on Google and you'll find the website. Guys, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here today. Here's the feedback. And remember, if there's anything from this presentation that you didn't get, this will be posted on YouTube in about a day or two. So, and if you have any other questions, feel free to email me. Thank you so much. You can use 0000 for the session code. I believe that will still allow you to send that in. I don't know if something wrong happened with this slide, but just try that and then you should be able to do that. So guys, thank you so much for being here today, and we will see you next time.